minutes. You can see that was a fractional gap over Clinton Davis, who's closing at speed, along with Ryan Giuliano. Aidan Sinclair in that sprint competition was very, very dominant in terms of taking away points in the sprints competition. I think it's going to be interesting now how this plays out, because right behind him is Francis Pino.
Yes.
We know Pino can sprint. Sinclair does it more by a breakaway than a sprint.
Well, I think Sinclair is just an aggressive type of rider. He also has the most points in the climbing competition at the moment, 15 points to one Restrepo's 8. So he's going to be out there battling again. And he is that type of rider. He really is a rider who likes to push on hard.
He would get the combativity award, wouldn't he, if we were allowed to award it, which we're not. We're going to get up and underway with Category 4. The third of our race starts here on Stage 2 of the Men's MyWhoosh Championship 2026. It's Attack on the Hills, and they're attacking straight off the start line. We're in with Neil Ungerer, our leader after Stage 1, after winning Stage 1. It's always a double bubble day when you come in and take away the race win in the first stage of a stage race, because you get the stage win and you get the overall as well, and much harder to do as you go further down through those race categories into the stage 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in this case 7. The riders up and away. Now, the riders looking good at the moment. Let's talk teams very briefly. The Brasio Racing Move are our top team overall in the competition, but no surprises that it's packed behind. So Clinton Davis alone, Jaco Kowadaki, along with Machusa Morowiec, Francis Pino and Wilhelm Thuft, the riders in that Brasio Racing Move, leading the competition more than chance. Pedal Club behind, Level Golden behind them. But no big gaps anywhere, right the way down to Level Golden with 14.3.
Top 10 teams, 13 seconds is the differentiator. So Category 4 is absolutely wide open, and we've got a good view here into the pain cave of a wide number of riders. In Category 4, from Leonhardt at the top through Russamaki and Arago to East, Sinclair, Corbani and Menendez.
Indeed, you can just see Marco Sierra right-hand side of your screen, out the side, tapping on those pedals. Graham Pearce, interestingly, in here. Now,
Yorkshire flag.
it is indeed the White Rose of Yorkshire, a very historic. I'm not going to get Emma started on history.
No, we were talking about Scotland.
Definitely not. Yeah, well, you know, Scotland is a nation. Yorkshire's a nation in its own right as well, even though it's part of the UK and England. So the Greater Republic of Yorkshire, represented here by Graham Pearce there.
In Category 4.
In Category 4.
Andrew Rushmore on the front of the pack here, pushing on nicely. Oswald Gaviria, Cirillo, Sierra, Russamaki, Salton, Willow, Thuft, Reimers, all in the mix. The pack still together as they're coming towards the top of this climb. This first hillock on the way. I was thinking about what
Hillock, that's a great word.
It's a good word, isn't it? And it was talking about Yorkshire. Hillocks. There's a lot of hillocks in
There's
Yorkshire.
hillock, of course. There's hillock, of course.
Whilst Category 4 on the hillock, Category 5 are coming to the top of the first Q qualifying. You're making me laugh, I can't think. They're coming to the top of the first climbing segment of the day. The polka dot banner will be with them shortly. In around 250 metres time. Theme, Laszlo, Pens, Cahill, all on your screen at the moment. The push is on the front, and it's Nicholas, I don't know why I'm surprised, Nick Spratt at the moment trying to go. It's 10 watts per kilo. There's a sprint coming from Spratt, but Laszlo is in front of him. Laszlo on your screen at the moment, you can see him working hard. Spratt's just come alongside and up and over the top. Gavescu is coming at 12 watts per kilo, mind you. Spratt needs to watch out.
He does. I think it's just that earlier kick there by Spratt, but Gavescu is a phenomenal kick on in the Romanian. We know he can go very, very hard, very, very fast indeed. So at the moment, top points being taken there by Spratt. He will get 5 points, 4 points to Gavescu. Then Mac Monroe Lenador is there. Then Laszlo and Zimmerman coming through over the line. Spratt's lead at the top, currently 10 points
yes,
now.
Yes, it is. Really strong, 18 points to 8.
Indeed, Mac Monroe Lenador is immediately behind the rest of them.
Yes. Yes. keep your eyes peeled on the screen.
I'm keeping it peeled on the screen.
Well, there we go. Category 4, the pack is rolling down the other side.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Okay, let's go to the GCC competition as we move on with Clinton Dave Cirillo. Now, Clinton Dave Cirillo is a bit of an enigma.
Oh, that's a good one.
And that is because he's got a great kick, he's got a great climb, but it's as variable as rain in Yorkshire, pretty much. Some days it's absolutely blindingly good. Another day, so like it's a sunny day, another day he's got like the form of a wet downpour, it's not there. He just seems to be quite hit and miss for
Well, I
me.
think you don't know what he's doing on top of racing.
No,
on MyWhoosh.
no,
But
totally
he is
not.
indeed leading the GCC competition. But it's very close between him and Francis Pino. They're both obviously in that Ratio Racing Move squad. 0.9 of a second. Hassan Sultan is a little bit further back, 3 minutes 45 back, but that competition will continue all the way through. In terms of the Masters competition, Graham Pearce is leading that Masters competition. The Level Golden 14-3 rider ahead of Andrew Rushmer.
Indeed, so Graham Pearce, the rider that we saw on our screens just earlier, the rider that had that Yorkshire flag in the background behind him, the rider leading in the Masters competition. Handy rider, Graham Pearce. Be interesting to see how he goes. In fact, we're in with Graham at the moment. Hey, Graham, how's he doing? I bet he doesn't speak Yorkshire accent. Nobody does, really.
No, I bet
Nobody's
he doesn't.
quite as bad as that.
So, and I bet right at the moment, as he's crossing the Golden Gate Bridge, he doesn't want to speak to you at all.
Well, you've got to keep in the wheels. It's 36 kilometres an hour, and he's going over a bridge. It's not as good as the Humber Bridge, is it, Graham? In Yorkshire. The Humber Bridge is a very nice bridge. The Humber Bridge, yes, that's about as good as you can get, to be fair.
Well,
on the way through.
He's racing strongly at the moment and leading that Masters competition, which is absolutely brilliant. In the youth competition, well, it's Aidan Sinclair, the under-23 rider, who's leading the mountains and the sprint competition. He is leading that competition. Fabio Tapia from 1.3 seconds. Matteo Pino is 11 seconds back as well. So that's a really interesting race winding itself up too.
We're going to see it all unfold here on MyWhoosh. Don't forget, please make sure you subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel, and also make sure whilst you're online, you might want to have a little listen to the Inside the Race podcast. You can go there on YouTube to Inside the Race. That's at MyWhoosh Racing. As we see Aidan Sinclair, the man who is known for his breakaways. Nice to see he's got a bit of colour about him
He's got to be pleased with this.
Oh, yeah. Great result. We know Aidan is going to give it absolutely everything. We see that week in, week out on the MyWhoosh Sunday Racing, where he's become a real regular rider at the moment. But I can't wait to see how he goes across the
Well, do you know why I'm waiting to see how he goes across the days? Because at some point we may get his fan club in the room with him. We've had it once on the Sunday Race Cup. It was a sight to see, but a bit of support and a bit of a fan club around you whilst you're racing.
Last day, maybe, if he's in the jersey coming into the last day, they need to be there giving support, see if he can get it across the line at the end. You never know, he might buy you something to celebrate with if he takes away the overall win. You never know.
Well, Carlos Alvarez is in the mix on the back of this group, and you can see the group. Evans Fort on the wrong side of the gap at the moment, and so is Marvin Angarita, which is surprising. 6 seconds back. I think that's a rider who wants to push on and get back into the pack as we drop down with Cat 3 in the start pen.
Carlos Manarelli, the rider who takes the gold jersey on from stage 1 to stage 2. Great breakaway by Manarelli, and it gave him a time gap of 4 seconds to David Watts. Watts holding off the bunch behind. Just over 1 second separated him from Patterson, who led the bunch charge behind. The rest of the riders coming in. There's one long line. Even great sprinters like Raphael Bush, so losing 9 seconds to Manarelli in terms of that overall time on classification.
52 riders inside 24 seconds. So that was the size of the group coming in behind them. So there are little time gaps along the way, but in principle, 52 riders with with a blanket thrown over them. Jose Oviedo had a solo ride with a 121 gap, and then it was anti-Valve 4 minutes back, and he really started to lead the rest of the packs through.
So you can see your top three there: Zach Patterson, David Watts, and Carlos Manarelli. The three riders came through. Manarelli clear from Watts, clear from Patterson. In the sprints competition, Mason Roca leading that sprint competition on 16 points, 2 points clear of Corrales, and then Manarelli in third place. So 16 points for Roca, 14 for Corrales, and Manarelli on 10. The rest of the riders in single digits at the moment. Let's move to the climbs competition. Ergatan Adar, the leader in that climbs competition. He's currently 3 points clear of David Watts, and Carlos Manarelli in third with 5 points. The two breakaway riders challenging, nearest challengers at the moment to Adar, but it's time to go climb. It's time to hit the hills here to see who will take away the maximum points. Remember that when we go over Mount Umunham, that will be the same number of points given out as a maximum point score as the point score for winning on top of the last time of the day.
Yes. Category 3, out the pen, Wangalo, Diego Vargas, Jakub Babitko right at the front. Alex Belakovs is there as well as Rune Bakken. They're pushing on the front, but it's a nice steady start out of the pen from Category 3, sitting comfortably PFL in Zone 2, Zone 3, rolling on the front.
Rolling on the front.
There we go.
And rolling along, it is PFL from France, one of our great riders. I think that is one of those riders I think is going to come into his own as we come into the time trial and then that final day. I think late challenge potentially from PFL.
Well, there we go. Write it down.
Early prediction. Another one. Early prediction. Another one.
I know, nothing wrong with that. Put your predictions in an envelope, seal it up, and open them the day
You've
after.
done that for the time trial, haven't you?
I have indeed, for both the men's and the women's time trial. I have a time prediction. I have put it in a sealed envelope, and it is waiting in the podcast space so that I can open it on air after the event. Franklin Almeida on your screens at the moment, nicely in this Category 3 bunch, sat around 24th, 25th wheel, good positioning in the top half of the bunch, keeping an eye on the pace, staying in the draft. 3 chevrons with him in the green, indicating that's the strongest draft available to Almeida. He rides and races regularly on MyWhoosh. He knows what he's doing, and he's really good at positioning himself.
You've been within the budget, not on the bike. You've been within the budget, not on the bike. Sorry, I was being facetious.
You were being a bit facetious, weren't you? But Benjamin Bellion at the front and back, another French rider.
So here we go, Bellion on the climb, starting to attack this off the front of the group in Category 3. As in Category 4, they are coming up to the summit of the climb, the first of our climate checkpoints here today. Now remember that Barrett is at 7.6k. Sinclair versus Batty, and Sinclair has kicked on the front. Batty looking to respond at the moment. Batty knows that Sinclair is always going to be a challenge, so now Batty will be a moment just chasing Sinclair. The two riders on your street. Henry Easy is also challenging in that climbs competition, making his way up into second place now, going over the top of Batty. Batty holding third place. That line is going to come. It's going to come for Sinclair. Will it be quick enough for East and Batty? East comes through in second. Batty holds for third place, and Rusty Mackie charges in up on to the wheel. Sinclair scoring the points, making sure that he gets the maximum there today. So in that points competition, in the mountains competition, in Category 4, 5 for Sinclair, 4 for East, 3 for Batty, 2 for Rusty Mackie, and 1 for Marvin Lanehouse.
Yes, I know. What an amazing move. And 51 riders in that group all through that banner together. I'm just going to do a bit of a time check, if I can, to see how big it is. 16 seconds from the front of the group to the back of the group. Ouch. Yeah.
Ouch. You want to be on there, because at 16 seconds, the front of the group could well be into the descent before you have cleared the top of the climb. Aidan Sinclair now leading the overall competition. 20 points to the good here, more than double the nearest rider, which is Juan Restrepo coming in second place with 8 points. Absolutely flying at the moment in Category 4. Category 3 on their way up into the same climb in a short while. They're currently on the descent from the first of our ascents. So they go up climb number 1, they drop down from climb 1, go on to climb number 2. That is Mount Ummernum climb. It kicks in at 6.4 kilometers, so still a reasonable distance to get there. It's 1.2 kilometers long, so that means the summit, as we've just seen with Category 4, is at 7.6k. 59 meters of ascent, which doesn't sound a huge amount, but the average gradient of 4.9 is deceptive because there are flat sections, so the steep sections up at 9-10%, which is going to test our riders. We just getting a little graphic on the left-hand side. You see what I'm calling, and it's good to see Dobbin Cahill, the rider leading in Category 3 in that GCC competition. Now we're just going to watch these riders as we continue down it. Mathieu's Kalman, the rider that we're in with. Mathieu's always a regular on our screens on Sunday Race, a regular rider as well. Very, very smart rider, I think. And I think with Kalman, we're going to have to wait and see when we go into the climbs how that then plays out. In Category 3, Martin Cond.
Yes, great to see as well. In terms of those competitions, in terms of that Masters competition, really nice to see. Zach Patterson leading the Young Riders competition, 1 second clear of Yu Yun Lin, and Sergio Osorio, excuse me, I'm thinking of saying something else, but I'll just say the gentleman's name instead. Sergio Osorio, 3 seconds back in 3rd place. What I was about to say was that Category 3, I can make a prediction in terms of the time that they're going to finish today on this course, because Category 3, when the men's and the women's Sunday race club were on the same course, Category 1 women would normally fit in the winning time to the top 5 in Category 5.
Okay, which is
125 today. But the women's race was a little hot and cold, so it'll be interesting to see whether Mathieu's Kalman and the others in the pack finish it around 125 or a little bit quicker. I predict maybe a little bit quicker today.
No pressure, Mathieu's, but a little bit quicker, please, would be good at the end of the race. Don't do it now. Emma's not putting pressure on,
No, well, Diego Vargas on the front of the pack, Bellion, Bannock, Kalman, Gallo, Montoya, Andrada, Hulhurst all up and paying close attention. They're on the Golden Gate Bridge at the 4-kilometre mark at the moment. Transitioning towards Mount Ummernum, the first climb of the day, Luis Andrada. You can see him on the screen. A strong look of concentration on Andrada's face at the moment, making sure he's in the right place at the right time. That climb competition, he wants to be right up there.
He does indeed. I think that's going to be really interesting how that plays out, because he's on the front and you are expending energy. You just see the watts number, that's central, top central, flicking between green and grey. Green is good, grey is not, because grey means that you are in the wind and you're pushing against the wind. You're expending energy which could be saved by hiding behind somebody else. The wind direction is on the top right hand side of your screen. You see the circular red dial with the white arrow. The white arrow pointing the direction that the wind is coming from. So at the moment it's blowing into the front left hand side of the riders' faces.
We got you, Patrick Karlstrom. Good to see you on our screens at the moment, right towards the front of the pack at this point in the race. Good to see him, one of the riders who races Sunday Race Club very, very regularly, and good to see him on the MyWhoosh Championships.
Yep, he's riding for Rider Club Finland 3 today in the racing. 31st on stage 1. I expect to see him moving up as we go into the climbs. Let's dive down to our riders down here. 2 lots of green for you to contend with, recognising our riders. The green jerseys of Category 2, the green skin suits of the Masters competitors in Category 2. Now, I'm just going to rub this in once again. I asked Giselle Betty for a win. Giselle Betty obliged. I'm not going to ask anybody else for a win for the rest of the championships. However, a brilliant ride by him. He was in that long breakaway with Mr. X100, then took away the win. It gave him a time gap of 12 seconds. That is actually quite dangerous when you've got Josiah Betty 12 seconds off the road.
It is, and do you know what? It's a great race. It really, really was. But I'm looking at the stats and I'm thinking, do you know there were some really smart riders in Category 2 out there yesterday, because there's a number of riders in terms of their average watts per kilo significantly lower than others. So riders down at 3.7, 3.8 average over that hour and a half, as opposed to others at 4.3, 4.4. There were riders being very, very smart yesterday, sitting in the wheels and staying in the wheels.
Hiding, conserving energy, so key. You can see our stage winners time there, 1:37.37 for Josiah Betty, Mistakes 100, holding on for that second place, coming through some 7 seconds clear of Lucas Carstensen, who came in third place. In terms of the sprints, it was the sprint king himself in Category 2. He really is the Sean Kelly of Category 2. Jesse Langeveen, he absolutely flew into the lead. 17 points for Langeveen, 13 for Mayer, 9 for Hurst.
The king of the mountains competition, it was Colin Cahill, who is in the polka dots today with 12 points. SS with 9 points behind him. Nicholas Trujillo from the Peloton Phantoms in third.
And those points will be added to the points scored today to see who's taking away the top of the standings in the points competition. It's time to go racing in Category 2, on the penultimate category here on the MyWhoosh Championship Stage 2 in 2026. The riders out from the pens, get into a wheel key. We're in with Josiah Betty. Thank you very much, sir, for obliging me with a win. I'm going to put that in my diary, in my record books. It's the first time it's ever happened.
Well, he's in that gold skin suit today. The leader's jersey going into stage 2. Will he hold on to it is the question, or will someone take it off of his shoulders?
Well, to Panda, taking away the lead in the team competition at the end of stage 1, led home by Josiah Betty. Interestingly, the UA Clan team in second place in that team competition, led home by Mr. X100. It really did go with those first two who had those time gaps. That was key in the times for those riders. Am I correct in thinking, and I'm reading my screen right, the top 9 teams within 16 seconds?
Yes, 16 seconds.
Brilliant.
Top 9 teams. I know, absolutely amazing. It's going to be a great race out there in the team competition in Category 2. It's going to be a great race in Category 2 across a number of competitions. X100 currently leading the Masters competition, and interesting to see that he's also leading the GCC competition, so he holds 2 jerseys. In that Masters competition, he's 7 seconds ahead of Nathan Guerra. Jonas Bjarhed is at 8 seconds. Bruce Bird is at 8 seconds. I tell you something, if this Masters group of riders could be a team in themselves, it would be brilliant.
Yeah.
X100, Guerra, Bjarhed, Bird and Milostick, top 5 riders currently in the Masters competition, could well be a winning team in themselves. In that GCC competition, X100 has the lead from SS by 10 seconds. At same time gap to Ivan.
Okay, let's move across back to Category 3, who now have made their way almost to the top of our first climb that is part of the climbs competition. This is Mount Umunhum. There's something coming at 7.2 kilometres. The big kick coming off the front in that mountains competition from Ogtan Ada. Behind him, very on his way, Rios coming at some pace. 7 watts per kilo, gets onto the wheels, can't get abreast of Adar at the moment, so it is the leader in the competition coming around this. So we've still got a way to go. 3 riders starting to go clear. Ferreira, Rios, along with Adar. Now Rios goes on to the front here. He's opening up the throttle. Can Adar stay with him? They're both at nearly 11 watts per kilo. This is for the points. Adar has capitulated there. He went to 2 watts per kilo. Rios is going to take that. So Rios coming through to take away the points. He scored 3 points on day 1. He gets the big point score on the first climb. It's big, but it's not as big as climb 2.
Yeah, and Adar for me didn't need to battle. He didn't need to push that hard. He's clear in ahead in that competition, and really the focus for him today should be on the second climb segment, not the first climb.
You've a long way to recover.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't need to go head-to-head with an eyeballs out sprint. He didn't, and actually sitting up and taking it easy was, he didn't lose anything by it. And please don't come down at one point. opinion. Rios, Adar, Van der Zandt, Ferreira and Elos go through. But you can see it's a huge group of Category 2 riders. And from the front to the back of the group, it's around 8 seconds and 59 riders. So the push on the front was for points, the entire pack up and over in a main group. Just 1 or 2 riders overall having been distanced. In Category 3, this is Category 2, however.
It is indeed. Category 2 en route at the moment. You can just see Mr. X100 there highlighted because he is our leader in terms of the Masters competition and in terms of GCC at the moment. Looking very comfortable within this group. They've made their way up over the top of climb number 1, heading in towards the first of our categorized climbs, which is a Category 4 climb. Climbs categorized. Category 4 is the standard climb. Category 3 is bigger. Category 2 bigger still. Category 1 is bigger. And Category HC or horse category is beyond comparison. It is literally without categories. It means that it is too big to put into anything, and it gives you the maximum points. Those point scores basically reflect that. Category 1 climb, 15 points for the win, 12 and 8 and 5 points as you go through the top 5. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 points as you go over our standard Category 4 climbs. Very interesting to see the way that our riders are riding at the moment. This is still a really big group together in Category 2. We've seen that push over the top. We're now at 3.2k, and it's going to be imminent. That I think will be the first real test here of the lead in the climbs competition.
Yeah, there's about 48 riders in this leading group in Category 2, and a number of the favourites sat right on the back. They really are trying to sit in the draft and make as much energy-saving positioning as possible. Even Bennett is here, James Krasnich is here, Cahill, Polka Dots are towards the back as well. Boulanger is there, Hertz is there. I've seen Josh Power, I've seen Nathan Guerra, all towards the back of the pack. What they're looking for is they're looking for that green number on the white bar. The black number, as we see at the moment from Torres, means that they are not in the draft. They're not saving energy. They're doing the maximum amount of work in the wind. And at the moment, there's a headwind out there. So when the numbers go green, like we're just in with now, we've got 3 chevrons. That's the most amount of draft available to that rider. And that's the position that they want. You can move around in the pack, and you can pick your position as much as possible to get those 3 chevrons.
You can steer from left to right to move your way into the maximum draft, because it's not always a banging straight in your face or on vast headwind. It can come from the side, and that means you need to be positioned so not coming from the left hand side, you want to be on the right, and vice versa. And you can move backwards and forwards with power and the amount of power you put in relative to everyone else.
Yeah, people say, well, is it really worth it? And the answer is yes, because take a look at this. Lucas Heyland on the front, 3.2. Trajnowski was 2.7. He's now picked it up a little bit as the camera's gone on him, but you can clearly see, if you go out there and practice on MyWhoosh, you can one of the things you should just practice is drafting. Even just on an easy ride or a regular day or whatever, just practice, and get to understand how much of a differential you can have on the rider in front of you, or if there's 2 riders in front of you. Take a bunch of friends and spend an hour practicing and playing with the draft.
Definitely one of the key skills to make sure you have dialed on MyWhoosh. Make sure you've got that draft dynamics in there. Very, very realistic. There's none of this come riding along at 50k an hour all the time, even if you're only capable of doing 20. It really does give you an honest feel for how you're going to ride, how you're going to race, the power being measured in the primary source, which is the turbo trainer or the smart trainer, and then a secondary source for the riders to make sure that the powers match up there. Verification is a really important part of cycling esports, and something we may go into in a little bit more depth if you really want to go and fall asleep. We could, Emma could definitely endlessly bore it. I'm going to try and avoid it like the plague if we can. We're going to go to Category 1, the top of the 3 riders who have those.
That first climb's coming up here. That first climb's coming up here. That first mount on radio.
Including including our world champion, Jason Osborne. Osborne going clear at the front is no surprise. Osborne taking 13 seconds. Well, that wasn't what I predicted, although my co-host on the Inside the Race podcast said otherwise. Being honest. But Osborne taking the lead, a 13-second gap back to Ollie Jones, leading the Space Cowboys, behind for the Alpha Jaw squad, and then behind him, the chase really on in terms of riders. Big group coming in together, 30-odd seconds down on Jason Osborne. The longest rider's time, 1:58, sub 2 hours for that race route.
Yeah, and back to 28th position, Power is at 43 seconds. So there still is a lot to ride and race for in here.
Now, Jason Osborne taking away the climbs competition, 15 points to the good. He will be looking to extend that lead in the King of the Mountains from Ruben Dodd and Linda Monostics. Pavel Skirski, our guest on the Inside the Race podcast. Very nice guy, and more importantly, very fast.
Leading the sprint competition at the moment. 2 points clear of the Asper Paradeans. Jason Osborne in third place by the fact that they are first across the line points, and he went clear yesterday. So that's going to be an interesting competition as we go through there.
It's time to go racing. We are on our final countdown for our final race category on stage 2 here in California. It's time to go racing. Who will come out at the front of the race? Who'll be leading in general classification in the mountains competition, in those sprints competitions? Who will be our best young rider and our Masters rider? We will find out at the end of today. 53.2 kilometers to cover. Total ascent on race route, 632 meters. 2 climbs with climb checkpoints at the top. That is our second climb on race route. That is Mount Uminum is our first climb with a checkpoint, and then it's our last climb, but it's the biggest of the country club climb up to the top of the climb at C1 climb, 320 meters in that climb alone. 3 sprints along the way for the sprinters to contest the sprint competition and that overall.
Well, talking about the overall, Jason Osborne holds the overall and the polka dots 2 jerseys, but he can only wear 1. So we'll be in the leader's jersey on the road today, but he does hold those polka dots as well. In the Masters competition, Neil Fryatt is the rider you will see in that Masters competition jersey. He finished 4th on GC yesterday. He put some amazing sprints in yesterday. He is just a masterclass when it comes to sprinting, Neil Fryatt.
You are a bit of a Neil Fryatt fan,
I am.
You are a bit of a Neil Fryatt fan,
I have had the absolute honour of interviewing Neil Fryatt for the Virtual Valor podcast, and if you want to listen back to it, please do, because he is he's such an understated man. You know, there he is on your screens at the moment. He is absolutely lovely guy, but really worth a listen to. But his sprint ability is just superb, and he showed that to us yesterday, taking 4th on the stage, taking some of those sprints as well, and just really being in the mix regularly.
Yeah, sprint prowess, also another way of saying sprint ability, which is probably more English correct, says he, Professor. Let me just dive in with our riders on the screen there. It is Rajeshra Hamadeva on the screen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, sir, wherever you are in the world. I think nicely opening up the throttles here, though, on the screen, looking like he's going to kick up a bit of a storm. Who's in second position to Cahill, who's leading this out at the moment. But I'll tell you something, they are all the way across the road here. Kane's starting to open up the gaps here. Pardon Cooper, the youngster, on his heels. SS charging late there. That might have gone to SS. I don't want to make a prediction on that. We've seen this really close before. It has. Wow.
So SS picking up 5 points. Kane picking up 4. Pardon Cooper picking up 3. Gorshank picking up 2, and Betty picking up 1. It does make it a lot closer at the top, but Kane still 2 points clear of SS. Those 2, I mean, the battle we're going to see out there on the country climb for those 15 points at the top, I predict those 2 riders are going to have to dig deep to beat each other.
I would agree with you. I think that it's going to be a real battle. At the moment, the riders now going over the top of the league. One or two riders distant from the leaders as they go over the top there. It's
Here's enough to three of us. Here's enough to three of us.
Here's enough to three of us. Distance to 23 seconds off the back.
Cycling District C or something like that. District C or something like that.
50 riders in that.
Cycling District C or something.
Having just gone over Mount Umunum today. Category 1 are over the first hillock on the road. They're about to descend off the other side. They are at a steady state pace on the way to Mount Umunum. They're the last group of riders who will go through that checkpoint. Category 6 on the right-hand side of your screen. They were the first riders out of the pen today. They're at the 33-kilometre mark. What I was going to say 50.
I think we're all here.
To finish, so they're
I think we're all here.
away
Four
from
of
the
us.
finish line now.
Four of us.
Category 6, 43.1. The next thing on
Where
their
do we
radar
come?
will be
Doesn't really matter.
the third sprint.
Doesn't really matter.
I think we should if you just.
But we're all in the same group. That's what I need to know.
You may need to do this, Simon.
I've done it.
We have done it. We have
Who's
had
at
a
the back
switch
of the
over.
climb? Who was the last over the climb?
Who's,
Who was the last over the climb? Who was the last over the climb? Who was the last over the climb?
Ola Warren went off the front of the pack and took the win. There he is in last year's MyWhoosh Championship jersey. Ola
Lucas
Warren
what?
from the family.
Oh no, I mean in the total on the category 2, right? The total on the category 2. There's a few off the back. I don't know who they are. There's a few off the back. I don't know who they are.
But Warren taking away top spot against Jonathan Fager in that competition. He holds the overall at the moment. In the downtown LA sprint, it was Jonathan Fager against Ola Warren.
And Chicken Wing, have they got 4 over or 3 over with us? 4 over or 3 over with us? In the group, in the group, in the main group. Where are they over the climb? Where are they over the climb?
17 points for Jason. And that's the.
No, where were where was the team?
Where was the top here? Fager at the moment third wheel, but Warren is going to open up an even bigger gap at the top of the standings. Ola Warren goes through in one. Fager pops over the top.
There's a sprint coming up
to take away second place.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't need to know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't need to know. I just wanted to make sure we was all in the group. I just wanted to make sure we was all in the group. I just wanted to make sure we was
as well. Interesting. Top 3 stretching out their lead, but the gap's opening a little bit between them. Ola Warren scoring 5. Jonathan Fager scoring 4. Daniel Barbier taking.
It'd be alright to the big climb now. It'd be alright to the big climb. Depends how stupid we all are. Depends how stupid we all
Yes,
are.
and 20 points on offer tomorrow. That sprint competition is really going to be cemented there. Looking forward to that, and I think Ola Warren and Jonathan Fager will go head-to-head tomorrow with that as well. Category 6, the furthest category along the road at the moment, and they continue to roll. Category 1 out of the pen at the 4-kilometre
Lucas
marker.
Hoffman's off the back. Lucas
all
Hoffman's off the
together
back. Lucas Hoffman's off the
onto the
back.
Golden Gate Bridge. Hayden Pucker, the rider we are in with.
That's not good
the
for us,
rider
he's my
from
teammate.
the
That's not good for us,
USA.
he's my teammate.
He was in the Young Rider competition last year. He's not in the Young Rider competition this year because his age now takes him just outside that under 23 boundary. Ricardo Panizza on your screen, nicely tucked towards the back of the group. He's got Jason Osborne, Neil.
There's a sprint coming up. There's a sprint coming up. I bet we'll be. Lucas Hoffman looks like he's off the back. Lucas Hoffman looks like Zwift. I'd go and rescue him, but I can't. Zwift. I'd go and rescue him. Won't get back in.
They ride together very, very regularly. Power, Kroll, Milostic, Confession, and Panizza make up that squad. Linda Milostic, their young rider in that under 23 competition, 1 second back.
I think that's our race over. I
Behind
think that's our championship over.
I would imagine
Lucas Hoffman's off the back. You'll see on the sprint coming. The next sprint, the big sprint, Alcatraz sprint. You'll see it in a minute. Alcatraz sprint. You'll see it in a minute.
There's a launch of an attack here from Julian Hertz. Hertz pushing on and pushing on strongly. Vidal Mayer in the chase mode.
Yeah, I know, but.
It's a massive.
Oh, you're right, actually, we have 3.
Oh,
you're right, actually, we have
to go
3.
over to the wheel of Julian Hertz. They're coming up to the 12-kilometre marker.
No, but we still got Mohammed, haven't we? No, but we still got Mohammed. As long as he can stay with us, he can climb really well. Stay with us, he can climb really well.
Julian female mare has seen the damage potentially being done.
Well, we're definitely gonna
split
up on the big climb.
Split up on the big climb. Competition. Jesse Langevin is on the front of the group, but the group are now 8 seconds back. These two riders going clear with the view of picking up points in the sprint competition. Interesting move from them.
Definitely, because you got Mare sitting in second place overall, Hertz in third place overall coming in, Langevin leading. That was all shaken up. It was all changed over the top. Michel Machado also in that mix, and that really will change the makeup. It's not going to change the positions radically, but I think what we're going to see is it's going to maybe change the gaps between them. Hertz, Machado, Langevin in this X100 in the order, scoring 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. At the 12.3 kilometre mark of the first of 3 sprints here today in the Alcatraz sprint, it's still the downtown LA sprint along with the control centre sprint to go.
So it doesn't really bring it much closer together. Langevin on 19, Mare on 17, Hertz on 14. There are, as you say, 2 more sprints to go, 10 more points available today, 20 points available tomorrow. Oh look, Christopher Morgan's gone off the front of the Category 3 pack.
Christopher Morgan in Category 3 Combativity Award for sure, if there was such a thing, because he is a regular breakaway rider. For me, one day Christopher Morgan is going to have a breakaway companion or two and they'll go to the finish.
Well, he did indeed go through that first sprint checkpoint, the Alcatraz sprint in the lead, but just by 1 second from Mason Rocker. Rocker back in the group. Morgan continues to time trial away. The next sprint checkpoint at the 21 kilometre mark of the downtown LA sprint is only, well, it's 1,200 metres away from him, so this gap is going to ensure that he takes 5 points as well, and he's going to, well, I say extend the lead over Mason Rocker, but Rocker in that group behind. Well, he's going to close the gap on me.
Close the gap on him.
Yeah.
I was just slightly confused. I'm an easy soul to confuse. Morgan on 10 points, tied with Manarelli in that third place spot. Corrales in second, Rocker in first place at the moment. But the gap is going to come down. Morgan doing what Morgan does best, going off the front of the group. The package.
When you do have a look at that sprint,
wide across the road, not stretched out in one line.
You have to click it, you have to change it, Alcatraz sprint, you have to change it, you have to highlight the
case they want those points, but it's a pickup from not a lot at the moment. It's 37.
Alcatraz sprint at 12.3. Alcatraz sprint at 12.3. Alcatraz sprint
in that bunch on what is a flat road down along the shoreline here, down along the side of the beach here in California. You can just see coming back down past the cruise liners are the main bunch as we start to see the kick coming in. Mason Rocker having gone off the front of the group, I think there looks like Rocker to me, who's opened up the gap on the front of the main pack. Behind him, Manarelli, the rider in that yellow jersey, as the overall leader. He's third place overall in the sprints competition. So Morgan is going to go underneath the banner. His gap will have diminished because of the pace of Rocker along with Manarelli. Manarelli goes over the top of Mason Rocker here. So Manarelli at the moment looking to hold his position within the sprints competition, but potentially also just gain a little bit of a few seconds on here. I think the rest of the bunch not wise in letting Manarelli go up the road, given his propensity to be able to try and go clear. He's got Morgan in front of him. If the two got together, that'd be a formidable force.
Yeah, there's some close numbers out there at the moment in terms of the sprint competition in Category 3. I think there's a number of riders throwing their hat in the ring, as we see Jason Osborne throw his hat in the ring for the breakaway today. But at the 7.4 kilometre marker in Category 1, they're on Mount Umanum with 200 metres to go. Jason Osborne, underneath that leader's skin suit, is wearing the polka dot skin suit of the climbers competition. He's got 9 seconds at the moment on Lyndon Milostic, and now the young rider from Australia puts down a big move to try and go clear of the group behind.
Milostic at the moment wanting to use these steeper slopes to his advantage. You can see his kick clear of Cal Power, of Christoph Kroll, as Stefan Van Elster queuing up behind him, and they're not going to take away the second set of points here today. Jones, Benitza, Van Erg, Justin and Kaminsky on your screen. You can see they're all keeping that power down because you go over the top of this climb. They want to be in that leading. They don't want to get distance, but this is really well matched at the moment. Category 1 going over the top of the climb. Osborne clear at the front of the race. He went clear with 5 seconds in the end. Osborne from Velocity, from Power, Kroll and Van Elst in that order. The 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 points will be added to the preceding points scored by the riders. Osborne now on 20 points overall, leading from 2 riders tied behind. Ruben Don and a certain Mr. Linda Molostic, courtesy of that last kick up the climb of Mount Owenham. So at the moment, 11 points apiece for Don Molostic in second and third place, but 20 points the total point score for Osborne so far. Big climb still to come. Osborne at the moment looking like he's going to cruise his way down here as we take a look in at the Alpha Jaw Cowboys. Not Space, they are Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys.
Let's
make sure we get the space bit in.
Yes. So Shurek, Yasin, Minsky and Jones on your screen at the moment.
Do you think you get a little badge which says Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys like you would if you're an astronaut?
That would be so cool.
It'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
It's also like a badge. It'd be really cool, wouldn't it? That's if you're a sheriff.
No,
I'll do it.
Tin badge, not a silver
I'll do
star.
it.
Tin badge, not a silver
Who's that
like
team
a,
then? Who's that team then?
Like a shield. Like a is what you're thinking, not star.
I was just saying there was 2
not star. There's more than 2.
Lucas Australian.
2?
Lucas Australian. Yeah, he was off the back.
He was off the back. Gold star if they go over the line and take the team win.
So he must have
spinning his
fell off
arms
after.
as well. It's looking very comfortable for Mikel Kaminsky.
Get up the sprint, yeah? Get up the sprint, yeah? We're miles away from there.
Take a look
We're
at
miles away from there.
1, 2, 3 and 4 on our screens. Did get some reports from a number of riders that they were having a tough time out on the course, the extra race distance maybe.
The next sprint's coming up. Check it there, 21 kilometres. Check it there, 21 kilometres. Downtown LA.
Do you think, Emma, that the step up in distance, I mean, 70k is a long old way.
Yeah, I mean, it depends racing. You know, Sunday Race Cup sits at around between 50, 55, 56, 57 kilometres. It is a little bit further, but some of these stages are shorter. Today is the shortest stage at 53 kilometres. You know, so the 70 kilometre stage yesterday was one of the longest.
Yes, and I think that maybe just taking its toll in terms of the riders keeping themselves fueled, hydrated. Easy to get it wrong, particularly if when you're planning on.
Yeah, I forgot about the other one. Yeah, that's good news.
Yeah, that's good news. You really do need to do some planning and not just think about it, but actually execute the planning as well. And that's really key. Well, category 1 at the top of the screen on the left-hand side at the 10.2 kilometre marker. The next thing that they will face as they go over the goal.
How many teams in the top 8 have got many riders in the top 8 have got many riders in the top 8?
Category 2, they are already through.
Don't matter, it'll be too hard for you to work out. Don't matter, it'll be too hard for you to work out.
24 kilometres of through sprint number 2.
Yes, but you'll have to work out which ones are out. You'll have to work out which ones are out. Because it'll say 4 riders have passed it. It'll say 4 riders have passed it. And some of them will be off the back. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. You just confused me. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know.
Really look to go clear. It's a very fast sprint in towards the finish as these riders are making their way along the side of the fencing here, just taking this long sweeping right hand turn at the moment. Massive Nekovic nicely tucked into this group, one of our Masters riders. He'll be looking, I think he's a definite surprise potentially for the win. So let's take that right hand turn and dropping it down. Let's see how they go as they come down in towards the sprint that's going to come up at 21k. However, that's a little bit of distance out at the moment. It's just making sure legs turning around, making sure that power's being
comfortable at the moment.
I wish I'd sort of
Rolling
graphic.
around on the front of the group. They're sitting at around
I don't know which one I am. I keep losing my little man.
That on that zone bar on the map on the top right hand corner, which gives you an indication of just how hard the riders are working. We might be moving at 50 kilometres an hour, but it's a steady state pace at the moment. Then Dakowitz, one of our riders, really well known for a long run attack onto the finish line, and I wonder whether we're going to see some classic Ben Dakowitz action. A one day on the stages here on the MyWhoosh Championships. In with Ollie Jones in the Category 1 race. That pack's starting to move a little bit on the front, you know.
There's
a bit of a push coming from the front of the pack there in Category 1. And I think there's a bit of an attack going down the road. They're running in towards that sprint checkpoint. That's coming up.
I don't know. It's so hard to work out what's going on. So hard to work out. I just want to know whether I need to kill myself to get this car.
Look at potentially leading out Pavel Skierski, but that gap has opened up the amount of watts that Pucker can put down. Absolutely legendary. Skierski up against Jones, and this now is actually, I think, for me, a real sprint battle here today as they make the way down this straight. Jones comes over the top of Skierski. Pucker is holding the wheels as well. Pucker will go in third place, Skierski in second, Jones in first position there.
Well, we should be in group chat.
First point of today's sprint competition, going out as they came in over the line. Skierski leading as he came in to stage number 2 here today. And good to see the riders in action. Pavel, they were waving as he went through in that leader's jersey. So Skierski, Jones going through that, the battle for the points for the sprint competition. Paradines not all that far off those point scores of the leading duo as well, but at the moment these riders making their way in through the sprint. And if you're looking at this and looking at the numbers, we can do a quick reminder. You've got to remember that these riders are riding on turbo trains that have to have a set calibration. They've all sorts of hoops to jump through. They've got to be of a set standard. There's a limited number of turbo trains that meet that standard. They have to have one of those. They have to have a second power source. They have to have power calibrated properly as well. They have to do verification videos as well. And it does mean that the numbers you're seeing there are true numbers. The difference from riding outdoors, though, cannot be overstated, because you are not worrying about whether there's traffic, whether there's a left-hand turn, right-hand turn, what's the surface like, is there gravel down there, is there a sheep going to run out in front of me, am I going to find something coming around the corner, am I going to run into a road junction before I've completed the amount of power and the interval I've put down. They're able to train and race in a secure, safe, controlled environment, optimising the temperature, the fueling, optimising their power and position. No regard needed for aerodynamics in there. No compromising position. You can get the best power. Lots of people can go low on the bike. It's very difficult to maintain your power when you're low.
Yes, and also you see a very different riding style on the bike on Cycling Esports. A lot of riders, Hayden Pucker, just in Category 1 lead out on that sprint, very often stood up on the pedals for a long time, sometimes up to an hour. It's something that is practiced, it's something that is trained, not something you would ever do outside, because it is just a very different move. Well, Vidal Mayer at the moment is doing a very similar move on the front here, and that's going for a sprint point in Category 2. Julian Hertz on his wheel, Mikhail Machado coming through, and so is Pardon Cooper. Pardon Cooper, Mundell and Langevin behind. Langevin's trying to get into the top 5 to pick up points where he sits in there. So is Pardon Cooper, but Mayer is the rider who's going to go through that downtown LA sprint in Category 2 and pick up the points. Julian Hertz doing a good job.
I should be able to check the LA sprint now. I should be able to check the LA downtown LA at 21 kilometres. We should have had at least 3 go through. We should have had at least 3 go through.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's an interesting strategy from Machado to come through and do that. But Jesse Langevin picking up 2 points. He needed those points because he's so close to the top. Machado getting...
Daniel Mundell's there as well. Daniel Mundell's there as well. Can't hear what you're saying. Can't hear what you're saying.
It is. So Matt Hurts with Jado,
Right now.
Langevin and Harding.
Right now.
Langevin leading as they came into that. But Vidal
And well, let me know when Hoffman is. And well, let me know when
taking the lead away, courtesy of the racing so far. 22 points at the moment overall from there. 21 for Langevin, and Hurts is the nearest rider on 18. Only those three riders into double figures, and now 22.
Yeah, I know. It's really, really interesting as that plays out. One more sprint today, 4 sprints tomorrow. It's going to get exciting in Category 2. It's going to be close and run to the wire, and those are just the first 3 days of racing. 55 points available in sprint competition in the first 3 stages. In the men's competition, 50 points available in the final 3 stages. I say 3, not 4, because when we come to that individual time trial, it's fastest through the segment. So
yeah, game over for him. In our team. Well, look at that. Well, we'll keep an eye on. We'll keep an eye on Mohammed and Daniel Hamid and me. And me.
I think you might be incorrect there.
Let's move on.
You might be incorrect. It wouldn't be the first time you're incorrect, but you're very rarely incorrect in comparison to myself, who's incorrect more frequently, not infrequently. Let's see, we're going to make a little bit of a note, and we're going to go searching through the technical guide and the rules and regulations here. So we work through. You can download the technical guide from the MyWhoosh pages. It's mywhoosh.com. Go to the events page, and there is a major, the main event page for the championship. The technical guide. Roadbook is there, where you can read all the rules, regulations. You can also find links there to the course profiles in the course summaries. So it's in the table with the course summary for the riders to have a look at, and in that are the links to all of the courses, distances, the profiles, hills, climbs, checkpoints, the percentage gradients of the climb, where the wind's coming from, you name it, loads of information. Don't forget, if you are searching for information, make sure that you log on to the MyWhoosh info page as well. MyWhoosh info, the source of all things MyWhoosh information wise. It's an amazing site run by MyWhoosh info, run by Jakob, who does it all. Amazing man, and so much information with the corporation, of course, from MyWhoosh, with all of that data and information flowing backwards and forwards.
I was correct.
Okay.
Each road stage, excluding stage 6 time trial.
Keep going. No, you're not. Keep going. No,
you carry on talking.
Don't read it out of context. Don't read it out of context. Did I just catch a professor giving me a quote out of context? Right, let's jump into it, guys. Who's just on the screen as Emma gesticulates across the commentary box. We are making our way up onto the climb in with John back at the moment, the leader in that competition, in the climbs competition. Now we saw a real battle as it went up number 1. Never mind. Yeah, we love you too, buddy, but I tell you something, we're loving the riding. It is absolutely.
It doesn't matter, because the only time that matters is the finish line. Because we just go through as a bunch. It would be nice.
This is our big climb. Category 1 climb, 320 meters per second. An average gradient of 5.2%, 6.1 kilometers in length. And this climb takes us to within 10.5 kilometers of our finishing point. The top of this climb coming at the 42.9 kilometer mark, and that means that this is where it's going to be critical for the riders in that overall. Big point scores available on the top of the climb. Quick reminder, 15, 12, 10, 8 and 5 points up for grabs. Back leading with 18 points, even off in second place in 13 points, and they are 1 and 2 on the road at the moment. Even off coming up onto the shoulder of backpack cannot relax for a moment. They've broken clear of Zimiel. Zimiel in 3rd position on the road, 6th place on the climbs competition overall. Back versus Ivanov. It really is a mano a mano. It is rider versus rider on the front. If they falter, if they hesitate, you are going to see
Hillgraves and Daniel Mundell. Scott Power.
6 seconds as the rider in 3rd place in the climbs competition.
Really strong.
Vikström is looking to make up up the gap. The gap between him and
it doesn't matter.
9 points.
That's not going to make any difference until the end.
Even off the back, the gap is only 5 points between them. Even if he's going for it on the climb, first to second place is
he off the back?
difference.
He off
It means
the back?
even if he takes away top spot here, will close the gap down on John Back at the end of stage 2. However, Back is trying to respond, even if he's sprinting at nearly 7 watts per kilo. Back can't answer
Mohammed's
it.
in the breakaway.
Even
Just
off
Mohammed's
here,
in the
he's showing him a
breakaway.
clean pair of heels on the top of the county climb. It's going to be even off
Yeah.
he goes to get
Because
maximum
he's a really
points.
lightweight
It's
guy,
gonna
so
be
he's
Back
going to
in
fine.
second
Really well.
place. Vikström is going to just hold off the group behind. He's in third, I think, just clear of Zimiel, but we're going to have to get that confirmed on our screens. Remember, all of the points at the moment are, of course, provisional until we get all of those results verified. So just bear that in mind when you're working your way through MyWhoosh info, MyWhoosh.com. Until the MyWhoosh.com website has that blue seal of approval, they are provisional. Now, you can see how close that was there between Zimiel and Vikström. It's even off in one with 15 points, Back with 12 points, Zimiel with 10, Vikström with 8, Jonathan Fager with 5 points on that climb. It means that even off will have closed the gap down to Back in terms of the overall, but it is definitely not all over yet.
No, 12 riders in the leading group as well. So it's going to be an interesting run to the finish line. 10.3 kilometres to the finish line, the majority of which is downhill. So in terms of time,
it won't take that long. The riders going up the side of the mountain as the riders go down the other side. Looking like this is going to be a bigger group coming into contention. No single person really dominating at the moment. The gap's not really opening up that much. Rod Loxley nicely tucked in with this group. Nicholas Spratt, the mathematician, supreme in the group here. Narovny in here as well. Villa Peta, Cadapona in the mix. Marin is here as well. Neto in there. Gravescu, that's the dangerous man to have with you in the group as you come up on to the climb. So Pez, Gravescu, Cadapona, Peda, Kendall is in this mix as well. He's mixing it up in the sprints and in the climbs. Category 5 as they came into the climb. Spratt from Theme, from Gravescu, Lasno, and then Peta. 18 points for Spratt, 9 for Theme, 8 for Gravescu, 7 for Lasno, and 5 for Peta. But with those 15, 12, 10, 8, and 5 points available at the top of the climb, I think this is really going to be the thing that shakes it up. If Spratt takes this, he's going to look really dominant at the top of the Category 5 Mountains classification. If Spratt is beaten here, then that really does shake it up, because it will bring those gaps back down. If Spratt can't score any points at all, he can see himself. He may not necessarily drop out the top 3, but he could be dropping down within the top 3. You could see that lead overhauled because of the points gap differences and how important these big climbs are. We're in with Villa Peta on our screens at the moment, so keeping a check on that screen. The greenery in the background, the trees, the grass just outside the window. The windows are open to get maximum cooling and maximum oxygen into the room. Always good if you get a view of the greenery. You can catch up with my thoughts on biophilia on the podcast. Google biophilia, it's really interesting. Honestly, I promise it is. It's not honestly technique. But as we move on to the climb, these riders, they're looking at the trees here in California. They're looking at the redwoods go past the side of them. The leaders at the moment focused on getting to the top of the climb. Marin now on the front, 6 watts per kilo on the front of this group. Penn's also putting in the power as we drop down to our sprint at the moment at the 20.7k mark as we go through that. 200 meters to go now. Pucker, Jones, Paradines and Skierski battle has resumed here as we see the move from Paradines coming up onto the shoulder of Pucker. Is he going to overhaul Jones? He's going to take the points away here. Paradines is going to nab those points from Jones. It's 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 point. And I think Paradines took the 5 with Jones with the 4. Skierski potentially with the 3 as they come through. Have you got the confirmed results, Emma?
So yes, points. Ollie Jones takes 4, Pavel Skierski takes 3, Pucker takes 2, Van Els takes 1. It does mean that Ollie Jones and Jasper Paradis now tie on points in the overall.
Wow.
18 points. Pavel Skierski is still out clear with 20.
So that is always one more sprint to go at the 34.2 kilometre marker. Interesting. Just moving away from the sprint as such, apparently this is kicking on here. That's just encouraging Jason Osborne to have a go, isn't it? You can say yes, you know. You can say yes, you know. I know you hate to agree with me, I know you hate to agree with me.
Whether it's encouraging him to have a go is a different matter. Team Amos Esports, they may well be putting Paradis down the road with a view to, that third and final sprint checkpoint that comes at 34.2 on the banking that Osborne won't chase him down because the climb comes after that.
Well, one man who is going to get chased down is Nicholas Spratt, the mathematician leading the competition in terms of the climbs in Category 5. Spratt, the best last known pedal, the top 5 riders overall coming into this climb. But as we get towards the top, Spratt has bided his time. Now he is kicked. Marion Pence, Thornton and Cadabona should be hitting the line in that order. In fact, I think Rufesco just snaffling the last point there from Cadabona. We're going to have to wait until that is confirmed, but no doubting Nicholas Spratt at the front. He's going to have extended his lead at the front of the competition overall. Spratt with 15 points, Marion with 12, Pence with 10, Thornton with 8, and Rufescu with 5.
It's a huge lead now.
It's a big gap. 33 points for Spratt, 13 for Rufescu. Then it's going to be 9 points for Thiem. So really is interesting.
Yeah, 12 for Marion as well.
Yeah.
So it is really interesting. But the other interesting thing is there's 11 riders still in that leading group in Category 5, and they're going to be running the next 10 kilometres, or should I say rolling the next 10 kilometres towards the finish together. Category 4, Noel Batty has been doing some climbing, and he's on the slopes here at the 40.4 kilometre marker. He's got 2.5k to go till he gets to the top. He's got a 16-second gap on a big group of riders that contains also Aidan Sinclair, the person leading the King of the Mountains competition in Category 4. Russamaki, Alalusa, Perdancini, Giuliano, Velez. That is one huge group of Class Cat 4 riders behind him at 19 seconds. Batty has got, well, he's got a lot of work to do over the next 2 kilometres to hold that gap.
And Batty at the moment has 3 points in the overall climbs competition, currently sitting in 10th place coming into this climb. So it's going to propel him upwards. But remember, if you think back to the 2025 MyWhoosh Championship, he absolutely battered everybody on those slopes of Mount Reduce. Really, really strong there. And I think that is where he's going to be focused in that Category 4 race. Let's dive back in to Category 2, where we've got our breakaway clear at the front of the race. 5 riders at the moment, 18 seconds clear of the pack behind. The chase being led by SS, Carlos Ramirez in there. But this group, Machado, we know he's strong enough to sprint. Mayer is combating the sprint competition, so is Pardon Cooper. And Mohamed Al-Case, breakaway specialist Supremo, along with Nicholas Gillo.
Well, Pardon Cooper is Jesse Langgreen's teammate, so he'll want to get some of the points. But Vidal Mayer is the danger man, because Mayer's on 22 points, Langgreen's on 21, and they're coming up to that next sprint checkpoint. Langgreen is not in that leading group. That's the danger. That's what Pardon Cooper has got to deal with as his teammate. He needs to get as many points away from Vidal Mayer as possible.
Mayer just in front, 1 point, isn't it? 22 points to Mayer, 21 to Langevin. I mean, there's nothing in this, and it is. It's going to be interesting. Machado on 6 points. He's going to be rocketing his way up through the standings today, just because of how he's riding this. So let's see how this plays out as these riders continue onwards. The pack, though, just started to wake back up again. So the group waking up, moving a little bit quicker, and not a lot, it has to be said. SS having to do a lot of the work. You can just see Mr. X100 is in there as well. Maciej Mendakowicz not far off the pace here. Gorshank in here as well. Who's chasing is often an indicator of who wants this the most. And at the moment, Jajanski nicely in that mix too. Nice there. It's just rotating around. At the moment that you get this gap across here, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
And who's not chasing at the moment? Not seeing a lot of the UAE clan team. You know, we see SS, we see X100 occasionally, but I've not seen, well, when you think about the rest of the group, Ivan Newby, Phil Graves, or Simon Walter, really. I think they are playing it cool, calm and collected for the first few stages until we get to the mountains.
Yeah, quite possibly. Good to see Maciej Mendakowicz. Sorry, Maciej, we did wave back whilst talking on screen. Maciej Mendakowicz giving us a wave as he came onto the screen there. Definitely a rider that come that downhill finale. If he's in that leading group on the descent, watch out in those last 3K to see if he can spring the trap on the roads behind. Category 6 are leaders on the road. On the right-hand side of the screen, 51.8K into this route. An attack going off the front here from Melville on this little bit of a change of terrain. Very quickly answered here. Now 52K. They're running in towards our finish. Remember, 53.2 is our finishing line, and this is an early move to try and break this up from Tuomas Korva. Korva on the front, back responding. The mountains leader looking to get a quick response in here in category 6. And I'll tell you something, I'm just taking a look down this group on the very front here. The man who's missing is Dylan Kennett. We've not seen that jersey. He's a long way down this group. He's in 17th position. Last I saw it is 1 minute 19 down on the lead, so the overall lead is going to go from Kennett here today. Whoever comes over the line first in this group has the potential to be our new leader on GC as they come into the finish, and that's why I think we're seeing Korva and back looking to break this up. There's nothing worse than a sprint between climbers. We're not going to get that. They're not going to leave it to the sprint at the moment. The gaps starting to open behind Korva. Left-hand turn to come, and as he takes that left-hand turn, he knows he's going to be lining himself up for the gantry. Korva leading back behind him. Back could be the person who's going to be up there. Who is going to take away the overall lead? Korva's got a good time gap.
Well, he's got 350 metres to go. This like the banner. Korva is out front at the moment. John Back running into the wheel, but the rest of the ride is now wide across the road. Fager starts to come through. He's on the top corner of your screen. You can see the sprint unleashing at 8 miles per kilo. He's running onto Korva's wheel. Has he got enough road left? That's the big question. It's Korva, Fagel, Zimael. Fager is coming, but the road is running out. Korva could well do this. Fager comes alongside. He comes over the top. Jonathan Fager is going to take the win today on the MyWhoosh Championship. Stage number 2. One happy rider right on the top, punching the air, getting it right. Great job from Jonathan Fager today. Andre Goslar, I think, may well go into yellow overall, but Fager takes the stage win.
Well, Goslar was in the right place. He was in second position coming into the stage. Fager, though, with a fantastic win there. Great to see him on screen. Regularly somebody who's in touch with us. And thank you very much, Jonathan. It's great to have all that communication. Great to have in touch with us as well. Fager taking away the win here today, ahead of Korva in second, Goslar in third, Simeon in fourth, Evenhoff in fifth, Montoya in sixth, 7th place Quickstrom, 8th place Melville, 9th place Rademacher, back coming over the line in 10th position with the group rounded out. Orlando Montoya.
Next is the one that matters now, Country Climb. Country Climb. I definitely won't be in the first group. I'll try my best.
What a finish now. Is that an indication of what this finish is going to be looking like in the men's races? Our next riders to that line will be the category 5 riders down. Category 5 on the right-hand side of your screen now on the run into the finish. You're going to flick very quickly into category 4. And the reason for that is because Niall Batty has got a gap on the front of the race at the moment. He put that in on the climb and taking away top spot on that climbs competition, taking away maximum points as he came over the top. He's got the gap going into the finish, but can he hold it? He's still clear on the run down in towards that finish.
Yeah, Nathan Sinclair came through for second place on that.
I've got music on, I can't hear you. I've got music on, I can't hear you. I've got music on, I
Jamie
can't hear
Fellas
you.
came through for third place. Category 4, the run is for the line, and that climbing competition will go on a lot longer. Category 1, I said, would they race category stage 2 like the women race stage 2? And I said, no, of course they won't. No.
And they have.
And they have.
They certainly have. It's been very much on, off, putting down the power where it matters on the climbs. But even so, this is at 6 watts per kilo. We're just in with Josh Harris at the moment, and Harris nicely tucked into a huge group here. If this group do not want this to come to a bunch sprint, they need to break it on the climb. My prediction, I know this is a very boring prediction for everybody, but the moment that we hit the 36.8 kilometer marker and 1 meter, so 36.81. That is where we are going to see Jason Osborne in his attack.
Well,
we will see.
51.7. Junior Pens has already put in his long-range attack for the finish line today. He's 6 seconds clear of the chase group in category 5. It was an 11-rider group at the top of the climb. They've come down the descent and they're on the run in towards the finish now. And Pens is gone for the long-range option. It's an interesting long-range option. The finish line is around 1,500 metres. And Pens has got to hold this now. He's got 7 seconds. The chase behind is not really a chase. Marin, Spratt, Gavescu, Kendall, Loxley, Petter. Petter's holding that jersey from stage 1 yesterday in terms of that golden leaders jersey. He's the rider now realising that he's got to do something about this. Everybody else is like, well, you're the stage winner yesterday. You're the one with something to lose.
And Brendan Thornton, the rider who finished in the top 3 there, nicely tucked in the wheels here. So Thornton at the moment wanting to be in position. Pence, the rider who's off the front left-hand side of your screen, really working hard, driving through those pedals at the moment. Villa Petter in the group, just hovering around the front of the group. Kendall is in here, and you would not bank against Kendall if this came to the sprint. Cadabona is in here as well, and Rod Loxley working hard. You can see it's not perspiration, it's a glow. I promise you, honest.
It is indeed. Well, glowing or not, Pens is the rider out front, and it's 10 seconds now. It's 10 seconds with 600 metres to go. I think Junior Pens could well have this. This could well be stage number 2 done and dusted. He knows that he stands a really good shot now. He's just got to keep this moving till the line, because he knows they're going to come in really, really fast from behind. And Nick Spratt is on the front right now, and he's leading out Lucas Petter, because Petter has jumped straight on his wheel. So it's Spratt in polka dots. Petter, the winner of stage 1, now going up and over the top of Nicholas Spratt, wants to get this gap down. But Junior Pens was the brave rider today in category 5. He knows he's got to pick up the pace because they're coming. But what a move. He got his timing to perfection. He's got a clean run off the line. He's got a clean shot behind him as well. Catabona's coming at 11 watts per kilo, but Junior Pens takes the win on stage 2. Category 5, as Catabona, Kendall, Petter, Thornton all come piling through behind him for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th.
I'll tell you something, Cadabona punching the air in delight there with that result for him, because he was sitting inside the top 10 as well. That is a good job done by those riders. Emma, give us the official results.
So Pens from Cadabona, from Kendall, Petter, Thornton, Petter, Spratt, Gavescu, Loxley, and then Felipe Marin rounds out the top 10.
Brilliant riding. Now, I think I have the overall classification. By my reckoning, I think Lucas Petter is held on to the top spot there.
Well, he did some great work though.
He did, because Junior Pens was down too far. He got back sometime, but not enough time by that close down in the sprint coming in. So I think it's going to be Petter, Thornton, and Cadabona still in the lead in that order. But don't quote me on that, because all these times are subject to maths.
Yes, and if you want further confirmation, tune into the podcast later. We've got all of the data in the race.
I won't be doing the maths, I promise you. Don't let me list in the maths.
Let's take a look at where we are at the moment because we're in with Category 2, and we've got two different races going on now here. We've got the break group way. They're 200 metres up the road. I say up the road because they're now onto, well and truly onto the climb. Category 2, Harden Cooper, Alcase, Mare, Trujillo. That's the leading group here on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen is the chase group, just over 150 metres back. In with Nathan Guerra there. He's got Stewart, Walter, Yarhead, Newkey, Graves, all in contention in that group. I think we're going to see that group try and close this breakaway down on the climb. I'm not sure it's going to be that easy.
I don't think it's going to be that easy because we are on to the climb proper. It is about the ability to set a pace, to set a rhythm. It's about your watts per kilo. It's about the power that you put down. They're not that far behind, but they're not that close.
The gap was 27 seconds at the sprint before the base of the climb.
And we can just see SS in the background leading that chase in pursuit behind at the moment. He's closing down at some speed here onto the back wheel of Machado. Alcase leading this out on the front. Harden Cooper with Gillo, with Mare, with Machado in that leading group. SS looking to get some points back in here in the mountains competition. Cahill leading that competition out. SS working to pull these riders back. He wants those big points. He doesn't want to let the 5 breakaway riders snaffle up all of those points and leave no crumbs left for him. He doesn't want crumbs. He wants the whole lot. He wants
the
that
whole
big
biscuit.
He wants that big. If you're thinking in biscuit terms, I was thinking in loaves of bread, to be brutally honest.
Oh, well, there you go.
I have a craving for bread right now.
Machado pushing on up the climb, so is SS, and the gap now starting to come right down. They are starting to bring it right back together. It's one long line of riders, but the front group now connected to the back group, and you can see more riders coming over as we look down the mountain. Look at that pack of Category 2 riders coming up the climb. They're coming to the 39-kilometre marker. They've got 9k of racing up this climb to go.
And ominously, you can see the yellow wheels there, Mr. X100 looking to pull the gap down. SS has done some great work on the front of the climb at the moment as they come into this mountain here today. But I think Mr. X100 is very aware that if he gets the timing right, he can push on. Now, in with Ivan Newkey, you can see the look out of the window. He's currently in the Hederiot Centre for Cycling. He's down as head coach of the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club, and you can see at the moment in and out of the saddle as the breeze blows through the palm trees in the background. If you go to the United Arab Emirates, do go down. If you ride on MyWhoosh, go say hello to Ivan, but go have a ride around. It's an amazing facility, honestly, to my voice.
David Nitko on your screen, part and parcel of the pack, climbing nice and steadily in the bunch, is putting out 500 watts, but he is in the draft. What draft is available to the riders out there on the climb today? There are 2 clear segments with a sort of 3. There's a small step, then there's a long climb before a short step, and then into the main finale of this climb to the top at the 42.9 kilometre marker. They've still got some way to go, but this group is so well matched in Category 2. It's just got to be so tough out there. Well, Nico, Termerton, Trujillo, the young rider Kamadeva is in the mix as well. The young rider from Indonesia, new to the MyWhoosh platform and new to racing here. Racing for BMC Elite Racing in the under-23 category. He's doing a great job. I mean, a really good, strong climber and a great young rider. Interesting to see how he progresses through this. Well, progressing through this are Category 4. They are the next group of riders who are going to come in towards the finish line. At the top of the climb, it was Niall Batty ahead of a group of 11 riders led by Aidan Sinclair. Batty back in the mix, so that's 12 riders in the leading group.
I think really smart riding by Niall Batty. Niall Batty has done two things. One, he's got loads of points in the KOM competition by going over the climb at the top. But also, it means he hasn't been dropped on that descent. He's been caught back, yes. But if he'd have been in the group, because Niall is such a great climber, he's always also up against the physics of the descent, and that then means he's more likely to be distant. So he's really done a great job of holding his position in that group. Smart riding by Niall Batty. Now, dangerous man in this group, Aidan Sinclair in here, Neil Ungerer also in there. You can see the golden jersey going alongside the sprint jersey there of Sinclair. Sinclair, not a pure sprinter, but do not discount him. But there are some riders with some real big kicks in this group. Pino is definitely amongst those. Matteo Pino, we know can kick. Ryan Giuliano, again, not to be discounted, out of this group. Panu Alalusa, though, is in here as well, and he's definitely the riders absolutely flying.
Yeah, well, Aidan Sinclair. The call has just come on the YouTube channel on the live chat from Luke Kendall to get moving, Aidan Sinclair. So Aidan Sinclair, if you're listening, Luke says get going. At the 53-kilometre marker, there's 200 metres to the finish, and get going Sinclair is. He's up and out of the saddle, the grimace is on. He's got Giuliano coming seriously fast behind. Ryan Giuliano is going to come up on the right-hand side of Aidan Sinclair. What can Sinclair do about it? Panu Alalusa is coming as well. Can Panu Alalusa go over the top of Giuliano? Yes, I think he could. Alalusa from Giuliano, I think, were the 1-2. That was. What a sprint. What commitment from Aidan Sinclair.
Well done, Aidan. Well done, Niall. Well done, everybody. That was amazing.
Alalusa coming through for the win there, ahead of Ryan Giuliano by 0.0, I think.
Something or other.
18 of a second. Aidan Sinclair, not that far back either. Jamie Velez in for Dominic Bergan in 5th. Kristen Mackey comes through for 6th. That was just outstanding. Full commitment from Sinclair, but not quite being able to make it.
So our riders coming into the finish in category 4. Giuliano, I think, still going to be in the mix with Ungerer, Bergen, Velez, Sinclair. I think it's Ryan Giuliano's overall subject to confirmation. Now, we will go through all of these race results as much as possible, either in the show or if not in the show, immediately at the end of the stage. We will be having a scroll through and checking it out and coming to as many as we can in the podcast afterwards as well. Don't forget, you can find all of the results rather than me reading them all to you. You can, or Emma reading them all to you like reading out the phone book. You can search for yourself for exactly the information you want to do so. The official results are on mywhoosh.com/results. The official results on there. You then can dive deeper into the stats data from demographics to the points allocation on mywhooshinfo.com. So jump on there, and if you want links to the podcast, you can go direct either from MyWhoosh Info or you can go there from the inside the ride website, and that is mywhooshracing.com.
Well, the Category 3 race is the next race in, and it's a huge group, and I mean huge group of riders in the leading bunch at 36.
What did I say?
We'll come to that in a minute, but at the moment Jason Osborne is launching the attack at the 37.2-kilometre marker here on the slopes of the country climb, and it's Ruben Dont doing the chasing.
Ruben Dont chased last time and chased after him. Well, my prediction was 36.81k. By the time we got to the 37.1k, Osborne already had a gap. It'll just have to be for us to find out and you not to care about as to whether I was right or wrong. But I'm going to take that near enough as a win. Don't get many of those these days. Neil Fryer, interestingly, now moving up to the front of the chase group here. So the Masters leader at the moment looking like he's trying to make this gap come down in a big way. He's not wanting to to let go too far. ZDR, so the Zero Ducks Racing 2 squad with Thomas Thrall and Neil Fryer sitting in what is 5th and 4th place, if I remember correctly, in the overall standings. Looking like they're wanting to get that gap back down, not let this go too easy. We're seeing a number of riders just struggling with the pace here as they come in. They're at 37.8k, so just about a k in. There is a big leveling, a step, a platform just coming in. They're about to leave that, and it's going to go up, and anybody who's struggling now is going to really struggle when we hit that climb.
Well, Neil Fryer at the back of this group now, but you can see him with those blue sleeves. Great kick and a great push from him, and he's pushing back into the group right now. Ricardo Pizza, Jakob Dane, Thomas Thrall, Van He is still in here, so all of his teammates are still around him. Lyndon Milostic also on the climb. A little bit further up, Lionel Vujasin is still in the mix. He's putting on a good wheel at the moment. He's right towards the front of the group. Don Power Vujasin Nair as Ruben Don kicks away again.
I tell you something, Lionel Vujasin has got into the bright colours here today. He's brightening his day up here. He's going to give them all that positive energy. You know, people who are great believers in colours give you energy. There's a world cyclocross champion and national champion who believes deeply in the power of orange.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, go with whatever works for you. Jason Osborne, I think he just believes in the power of winning. He's letting his legs do the talking. He's 8 seconds in front of Ruben Don, who's leading the chase once again. When it gets steep, Don is really kicking on here. I'm very, very impressed. Ruben Don is impressive in the first few stages here. Stage 1, he was in the chase straight away. He's on the chase yet again. He's doing a lot of work here to keep that gap down for the Zero Ducks Racing squad.
Yeah, he is indeed. And Don, for me, is a rider who came into the Sunday Race Cup and MyWhoosh. Maybe didn't do as well as he thought he would. Went away, worked it out, and has come back and is absolutely dialing it. Category 2, however, go over the top of the climb. It's all change at the top because SS goes through in 1. Peter Milostic goes through in 2. Look at that pack come through behind, however. It is Vidal Mayer who picks up the 10 points, Ivan Yuki and Mitch Stewart. But 20 riders, 11 seconds back from that group of 2 going over at the top.
And I'm just doing some quick maths here at the top of the standings. SS with 29 points here. Cahill, though, as he came in here, not picking up points. He's on 16 points, so he's down in the standings as defending mountains champion, dropping down through those standings, but he's still going to be in the mix, but not right at the top. Now, as we go in towards the race finish, category 3 are on the way in. David Watts coming a couple of seconds up the road, just going into this tunnel. Behind him, which is Kalman, the rider who's on your screen, looking to keep that down. He's gone quite hard there at 4.5, 5 watts per kilo to bring the gap down. Now Chikos, now Wojciech go and take up the mantle, but they need to be careful here. We're at 52.2 kilometers. We finish in 1,000 meters. That gap go out, you're going to be in trouble. Let it hover. You've got the chance to put it back. What needs more?
Well, 36 riders overall, 1 out front, so that means 35 are chasing as they head towards the finish line in category 3. This is stage 2 of the MyWhoosh Championships. Mathias Kalman, Rune Bakken and Wilson Villada are on your screen. David Watts is out front. Montoya's on the front of the pack behind with Karalis Guarin. Skierski is in there as well as Chickles. Who is going to unleash the sprint? The kilometres, well, the meters are ticking down now. There's around 450 meters to go. They're going to swing around the left-hand corner. They're going to sight the banner, and then it's the run for the line. Montoya comes onto our screens as well as Villada starts to open up from behind. The pack are going to come in really hot and really fast. Skierski's coming at 13 miles per kilo. David Wilson's got to hold this to the line, but I don't think he's going to. They're coming down the right-hand side. It's Yakila who's coming up and over the top. So Skierski, so's Lynn, so's Azario. Yakila versus Skierski, Skierski versus Yakila. Yakila, I think, is going to take this today. I think he's going to make it to the line. No, Skierski goes up and over the top yet again. Oh, wow, that was so close. coast. What a race, what a battle between those two riders. That was fast and furious. I have Maciej Skierski taking the win from Michał Jakila. The two Polish riders going head-to-head in that sprint. Felipe Reinheimer in third, Youngyu Lin in fourth, Wang Gallo in fifth.
And Michał Jakila, subject to confirmation, taking away the lead in the overall competition in terms of the race lead in the GC from Skierski. 1.157 seconds. It's not my maths for the computer to work that out. I think it's Jakila who's got that stuff together. Team riders Jakila and Skierski, 1 and 2 on the stage. 1 and 2, I think, in the overall. Behind those gaps are changing his calculations. It may be even less than that. We will have to see how this plays out.
Well, changes. Peter Milostic is off the front of the Category 2 pack.
What are they doing?
Descent
Can't do that. You can't let him go.
7 seconds it is at the moment. Hayland, Gorjanka, Guerra, SS Termerton, Trujillo, all behind Josh Power in the mix as well. But at the moment, it's Peter Milostic winding his way down through the leafy avenues of the redwood trees, away and on towards the final. Category 1 on the left-hand side of the screen.
Jason Osborne clear on the front. The gap back to Dom now a reasonably substantial one. Dom, Power, Nussen, Jones and Co. all left chasing. They're one group together at the moment. That will give them the advantage if they stay together as a group, coming onto the summit of the climb to chase down Osborne. If they put their mind to it, you could see that group on the bottom left-hand side of your screen closing down the gap to Osborne, but they have to work together. They have to not let the final bosses interrupt their chase. They need to be focused about it, work together, not worry about somebody not riding. This is the opportunity to pull Osborne back on the descent because you've got so many riders together. Anyone attacking on the top of this climb to the point it's breaking this big group down into 1s and 2s is playing into Osborne's hands because you're not closing down as 1 and 2. You need bodies, you need that volume of riders. It's true on the left-hand side of the screen in Category 1. It's equally true on the right-hand side of the screen because Peter Milostic would love to be Jason Osborne with that power and speed, but at the moment we know he is a dangerous rider. He's got 4-5 seconds on the group behind. They are, and this is a great example of why the pack behind in Category 1 need to stay together.
Yeah, well, if you look at the differential in speed, Milostic's moving at 67 kilometres an hour, the pack's moving at 69. You know, they are up and down and fluctuating, but the pack is just moving that little bit quicker. And now the push comes on the front of the pack as well. So Milostic has got to try, well, he's going to try and stay out front here. He's at 48.4k. He's got just under 5k of racing still to go, a lot of it downhill. But the pack is just going to roll quicker, particularly if they put in a concerted effort on the front. There's a lot of riders in that group who are wanting to conserve some energy. They really are. Lucas Hayland on the front of it. Some of them won't be bothered about that either. You know, 20 riders, 21 riders in that chase group. Guerra, Betty are all in there. Nitko, Mendakowicz is in there. Kamadeva is in there as well. It's an interesting group.
And it's really, really telling because you've got Mr. X100 who has a lead over most of the peloton in terms of the GC. Betty has got the biggest lead, but Maciej Mendakowicz at the moment saying he's done it, he's got nothing left. I don't believe you, Maciej. I'm sorry, buddy, but he's quickly swinging down the fluids here. Not sure I believe him. Interesting, right-hand side of your screen, Nathan Guerra on screen. Nathan had a good ride yesterday. He'll be looking for more today. I think Guerra playing that long game. Josiah Betty on screen as the cooling goes on to the legs here. Rajesh having the waterboard on to keep them cool. Nitko at the moment's got the vest over, all trying to manage their core temperature. The gap is now 3 seconds to Milostic, and if we go to the front of the race, you can see on this climb Osborne on the front.
Wow.
Dom is behind him. This group is not fractured. I think Osborne has been very aware that as they come towards the top of this climb, he may well get caught by a big group, and if he backs off a little, he saves energy. strategy, but he still takes the points. He's not worried about the tanks. I don't think he thought he could get clear if that group stayed together. They are all over the climb here. I'm just looking at the team compositions and who is behind him on his team. Maybe that we're going to see a little bit of a wait up for Skizzy. Skizzy says, we're not far behind. Let's get this together and then we'll drive down for that line. And maybe Osborne's looking to break Skizzy clear.
Well, you never know. It's a really interesting move, isn't it? But Osborne in one, Ruben Dont closes the gap with Ollie Jones. They sit on his wheel. And that's an amazing move. You may well be right there, Matt, with the gap so small, is it worth it when there are bigger stages to come? Conservative riding maybe from Osborne there.
We're not sure it's conservative, but I think it may be tactically astute.
Okay, like the phrase. On the right hand side of the screen, Peter Milostic, I'll tell you, he's got the 51 kilometre mark. He's got 2.2k to go. If he turned over, if he could just turn his head and look over his shoulder, don't do it, don't be an owl. And he would see the pack coming behind. At the moment, he's just got to focus on what's in front of him, not what's behind, because Gorjank is the rider leading the charge from behind. Hayland is there. Do you know, it's still 6 seconds. It was 7 seconds on the descent. It's still fluctuating. He's actually held it for the last 2k.
Lucas Hayland there, along with others, looking for support, looking for people to pick this up.
Where was you at that last climb? Where was you at the team climb?
Second place overall. They want to pick this up. They want to open the gap on everybody else. Guerra is in here. Milostic is in. Gilo is in here. Betty, the leader, is in here.
How long?
Miller.
8 to 7 long.
Minutes and Seagard is in here. Mayor. It's a big group. It is going to have to work though to pull the gap down. And Guerra, I tell you something, Nathan Guerra is not shy of taking on the work at the front here. He looks at somebody else. He puts in a dig. He eases off the next person. Have a go. He's trying to lead this by example. And at the moment, the problem is it's riders like Haylen along with Guerra, who are doing the driving. Betty's playing this cool at the moment, and this is really smart riding. He's not putting his nose in the wind. He's holding on to that jersey at the moment. He needs to make sure he doesn't panic here. This is about keeping hold of that overall lead. Remember, he's got the lead at the moment by 4 seconds, I think it is, to Mr. X100. That's a further 4 seconds or so back from X100 to the main group. That means that can't let Milostic go too far down the road. It's now at 8. The group behind need to stop fapping and get on with full gas.
Well, they might need to get on with full gas, but with 650 metres to go, Peter Milostic now has 9 seconds and he's already upped his game. He's upped his game to 7 miles per kilo. Milostic is driving now 4 at the finish line today. The group behind have not unleashed the sprint yet, and when they do, it will close down the gap very, very quickly. But Milostic at 10 seconds.
UAE Clan Team throwing Ivan Yuki up onto the front now, and Mr. X100 to try and pull back Milostic. Milostic surely has got the gap. They're fighting for second place.
They are indeed, as Peter Milostic cites the UCI banner that is the finish line of stage 2. I think there's going to be a stage win today for the brave rider Milostic, who just went on the downhill into the line. Kalman, Nico, Mayer, they are all battling behind. So is Betty. Milostic's going to see the line in 1. Peter Milostic goes underneath the banner in category 2 for the win. Kalman, Stewart, X100, Mitchell Stewart, Alexei Kalman, they are battling it out. I think that was Mitchell Stewart taking 2. Kalman in 3. X100 coming through fast. So was Damsgaard and Trojanowski. Oh, the computer updates in front of my eyes.
I'm looking to see how far back Betty was in that group here. 5 seconds down on the race leader. That should be enough to hold him in there. He's going to only be a second or so behind X100, who I don't think has gone over the top and taken that away. I think it's still going to be Betty X100, but I think Milostic has pushed himself up into 3rd place overall.
Well, Milostic and Stewart from X100, Alexei Kalman, Nikolai Damsgaard, Vidal Mayer, Dorvid Nico, Nathan Guerra, Nicholas Trujillo and Marfan Trojanowski ended up the top 10 in that 22 sprint. Well, the only race field out on course now is Category 1, and they're at the 46.6 kilometre marker. They're on the descent, and well, Jason Osborne's clear again. At the top of the country club climb, he had 6 seconds on Ruben Dont. The group had come back together again. Jason put a dig in to ensure he took those points, which he did. He took 15 points at the top. Ruben Dont took 12. Ollie Jones took 10. Van Elst took 8, and Vujasin took 5. The chase is on now on the descent because Osborne, with that clear gap, I think he's still around 7 seconds. So pretty similar to what we saw with Peter Milostic. We've got a chase group of 3. In that group, we've got Van Elst, Dont, and Jones. The pack a little bit further back, not too far back, but a little bit further back, an 11-rider group.
So 1v3v11. That is the battle order coming down in towards the finish, coming off the slopes here of the country climb. They've ascended now on the descent.
The other two should have finished that. The other two should have finished that.
So mirror image on the way down, 10.2k from the summit to the finish, which is at 53.2 kilometres. Osborne at the moment on the front. The rest of these riders will not want that gap to grow. They know that normally on a Sunday race or on a one-day race, you can let the gap go. Who's going to win? It's going to win. It doesn't matter what the time gap is.
Now we were like over a minute down.
Adding time in the bank for the final bosses team, and all the rest of the teams now know that they need to chase properly to get this gap back down again to minimise the final bosses gap.
To be honest though, they only finished with 3.
He's got to keep on pushing. Zero Dutch Racing. Ruben Dont has to keep on squeezing on those pedals, keeping that chain tight. But they've got a passenger. It's Stefan Van Elst, also of the bosses, and that means the boss is going to put 2 riders, 4.
And I couldn't have gone any harder on that climb. I don't know what the numbers were, but that's all I have.
Dan Turek, they are pushing on. It's a 7-second gap.
I just can't go any. I don't climb any faster than that over there.
About an 8-second gap on this group to Osborne. So if they're about equidistant,
I can do. That's just my limit. That's why I think it's stupid that I'm in that category, because over those long climbs I can't. But I'll have a look now. If it's early in the race, I can do it. But you're looking at some of the guys in that pack. Jesus, they're animals. No idea what the fuck they're doing. Well, I did that climb.
Needing to work. I'm going to bring you some very
I never
quick
stopped,
updates.
like normally in SRP, I just gave them pushing. There's no point.
In Category 1,
Because we're playing for team pride.
Paradinski tied at the top with 23 points. Jones on 22.
314 minutes.
Absolutely.
So I know I can do more
what
stage, but that was at the end of 2 relatively.
No surprises that Jason Osborne clearly
It's not easy.
sitting
I think the easy bits are easier and the hard bits are
He'll have
pretty
to
hard.
hold that to the finish. But
You know,
Osborne on the road at the moment,
347.
looking to
They
extend
can do better than
the
347.
on stage number 1. What can the teams do about this? What can they do in terms of that team competition overall? It's going to be very, very tight. The final bosses looking to make the most of the gap between Osborne and the chasers. Van Elst in that chase group, being able to pitch a lift with the 2 riders, but it's a real Hobson's choice for the 2 that they are with. Ollie Jones and Ruben Dont have to make they have to choose what they're going to do. Osborne, the overall leader at the moment, now at 50.8 kilometres done. He's catching riders who set off 10 minutes in front of him at the moment, such as the power of the world champion. It's
racing with people, trying to get them to
they have him in their sights.
Yes, they
The
do.
work is being done by Jones and Don. Elsie's getting a ride.
They do indeed, and it is indeed a push because Vyas
Yeah.
and Chura can power the
I was
gap,
happy with
going
that.
out, not coming down. So
Are you
Don
always happy when you
Jones
give it
and
everything
Van
you've got?
Elst, they might have him in their sights, but he's not out of sight and out of mind. He's in sight and in mind, but they can't catch him. Catching him and seeing him.
That's ninth today, but I don't know where we are overall as a only today stage. As an event.
Looking at the rider of the year when it comes to the race finish. Here we go. So we have got a few gates left in for our leaders in our last race.
That's okay.
On the MyWhoosh Championship Stage 2 for 2026. It is Jason Osborne, the world champion, looking to add the MyWhoosh Championship that he's never won to his palmares. He is currently in the race lead. He's currently on the stage lead. He's looking to open up the gap behind him. Things are very close. Equidistant race used by him is still very, very applicable. There's hardly anything in it. If anything, the bunch behind are 3 breakaways from close.
Okay, 28.
And Osborne has opened the gap on Van Elst and Jones now in danger of being closed down by the group behind. And now that means the final bosses might have to do a little rethink, particularly Stefan Van Elst.
Well, it's going to be interesting on this final run into the finish line. There's around, 1 kilometre to go for Jason Osborne, just slightly further for the pack behind, but not too much further as Osborne swings around the right-hand corner. He's got a couple more corners to go before he sees that finish line today.
So out of the tunnels from the neon-lit tunnels here in California into that bright sunshine, making his way down from this gorge, heading towards the Golden Gate Bridge. He'll be able to see it behind the finish arch that is the end of the race here today. The kilometres have really driven for Osborne. He's accelerated his broken clear. He's been pulled back. He's gone again. He's going to turn left, and now he sights that line.
Well, he's lost stage 2 in the leader's jersey following stage 1 yesterday with a 13-second lead over Ollie Jones. He's done the business yet again today. Ollie Jones is battling for second place behind, 12 seconds back from Jason Osborne. He rode away at the top of the climb. He's held the gap on the descent and into the finish line today. Category 1 MyWhoosh Championships. Jason Osborne takes the win today, twice, 2 days in a row. Well, Don Jones, Van Elst have unleashed sprint behind, and it's absolutely eyeballs out for the second, third, fourth place, and the sprint behind for Peloton, Paratians, Power, Kaminsky, fourth, fifth, and sixth as well. Oh, the power going down through those pedals, enough to light up a city in California itself today. Osborne in 1, Don in 2, Jones in 3, Van Elst in 4, Paradies takes 5th place against Edison, Power, Fryer, Skirsky and Buyasin, Turek, Harris and Knudsen.
But I don't
So
feel
it
like
could well be that the time gaps in that team competition is going to come down to that work done by Osborne, because it's only matters of fraction of a second behind them. Osborne leading, going into the stage, leading, coming out just under 3 hours of racing, 2 hours 51 minutes so far for those 2 stages. You can see the results on your screen of our riders, the top rider screens, just 20 now on your screens. End of the event, 24 the Benga boys in the individual competition. The team competition is very, very close behind the final boss. In fact, it's close all over, to be honest, because it's very close everywhere. Teams competitions are always interesting. They always are.
You want to think I don't know? You want to think I don't know? You want to think I don't know? They are to Twitch and do the race. They are to Twitch and do the race. Or they go and do an event on. They go and do an event on. They go and do an event on. Exit that. Exit on. Exit. Be some more on mine. Be some more on mine. Well, but like, let's go on mine. Let's go on mine. The legs, I felt great, but the legs actually felt great on the first time today. There was a bit like moody with me, and I didn't feel that in the warm-up. Weirdly. It was a bit annoying when she'd gone for